We are live.
This is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and you are listening to Potsy and Tino on the Potsy and Tino Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Potsy and Tino Show proudly brings to you its tag team champions of the world, the Road Dog Tino Gray, the badass Rob Potsy Potchak, and I think we're live.
Are we live?
I believe we are live, Tino.
Are we doing an impromptu show? Is this what this is?
We may be. Yes, as of right now on the YouTube, we are live.
Oh, wow.
So people can chime in. They can join us. We should probably even go ahead and let people know that they can go to my YouTube page.
We probably should put something on Facebook and let everybody know that we're live on YouTube.
Yes, I am doing that. Why don't you go ahead and start talking about what's been going on with you during the COVID-19 experience, and I will let everybody know that we are on the YouTube.
Not much going on with me. I still get to go to work because I'm an essential employee. I got my letter and everything, so if I do get pulled over, I can say, "Hey, look, I'm going to work." Other than that, all my shows have been canceled, obviously, because we're not allowed to be. Bars are shut down, restaurants are shut down. I had a couple of private DJ parties that got postponed or canceled as well. So, yeah, lots of fun losing money.
So question for you there. Now, were these shows canceled by those people, or did you cancel them because you're obviously high risk?
Why am I obviously high risk? Is this what's the rating on this show tonight?
No F-bombs, sir. No, not, at least not yet.
No F-bombs. I can say anything else as long as it's not a F-bomb.
What's that?
Or no, I'll put it this way: as Matt Hardy said the other night, "Sir, you are the whole of an ass."
Well, that is not far from the truth. I would definitely say that I am. So
no, they emailed and called and said, "Hey, we're gonna make it," because I wasn't gonna say nothing to nobody. I was just gonna show up and they're gonna pay me. But that plan didn't work out like I was hoping it would. I'm like, I'm here now, set up. You got to pay me.
So Tino, it's been months since we've tried to do a live show. The last time we were going to do it, I think, was Royal Rumble, and we were just both too tired to sit there and do it.
Yeah, like I said, I started the new day job, back in December, right around, late December, early January, and I was still getting used to the getting back into work and having to get up as early as I get up. I got to be there at 6 a.m. I'm in my shift 6 to 3, so my body had to get used to that. And you were doing a bunch with the comic book thing, and so we just hadn't had a chance to get together.
Yeah. So, and of course, right now there's like nothing going on with the comic book thing because, like you, every comic show / horror convention / any type of convention at all has kind of been put on hiatus, and it's kind of sucked because that could be income for not just me, but for anybody else that worked on the books with me or anything along those lines. And right now the Oak City Comic Con's been postponed till May, and I don't even know if May is a good time because when you hear about this COVID stuff, they're talking about how like they really think that curve that's going to level out is going to be sometime in June. So I mean, we're not even in the thick of it yet, based on what they're saying, but yet we've got 100,000 cases, which is just insane.
Well, I think that the president was even saying at one point that
who cares what he's saying?
It was going to be, well, originally he was like July or August, And then he's like, he wants to get the country back up and running by April 12th. And my favorite part of that, because I was watching, we were watching the when he was doing this little press conference, and he had the Dr. Bricks behind him and a couple other people from the CDC and all his medical staff, whoever he's speaking with. And he's like, yes, he said, we're going to get back. The country's going to be back on April the 12th, and we have to get up and moving again. But what was the funny part, as he was saying it, the people in the background were like going off script.
Yeah,
they're like, what's going on?
Well, a lot of people think that he wants to get back up and running with his, and we won't talk politics for too long here. But I think a lot of people think that he wants to get everything back up and running because he's losing a lot of money in his own personal businesses. And the longer they stay closed, especially in places like New York and New Jersey, he's got Atlantic City, and he's got Trump Tower, and he's got all that type of stuff. The longer that stuff stays out of commission, the more money he loses from it, obviously. However, I was looking at it yesterday, and 45% of the cases in the entire United States are in New York right now. Another 9,000 cases, so 9% of the cases are in New Jersey. So over half of the known cases in the entire United States are just in 2 states, and they're right next to each other, which is just crazy to think about. I was saying it the other day, Tino, because there's a lot of places that are staying open, with doors locked and letting people pick up products and things like that. And I posted the other day, how crazy would this have been if this happened before Netflix, before Disney Plus, before Amazon Prime's Video, like in the situations of, if this had happened 10 years ago, instead of happening now, when we have all of these online streaming services that we, and even the fact that you and I can sit here and have this video call right now, when you think about it, like 10 years ago, we weren't able to do any of that. And due to that, like, imagine how much faster this kind of thing would have spread, because people would not have socially distanced themselves. People would have had to go out to places to get entertainment. They would have been in Blockbuster Videos, renting every last movie they could and causing mass hysteria lines. Whereas now, obviously you don't have to do that. Matt Damon put out a PSA where he said previous generations were told to do lots of other things, like go to war for their country and everything, and we're just being told to stay home. Yeah. So although I'll tell you, before we got on the air tonight, I went for a walk because, North Carolina still says that you can do that as long as you socially distance yourself. And some little asshole kid decided he wanted to keep riding up next to me on his bicycle. The kid buzzed me like 4 times. And I literally almost yelled at him and said, if you do it one more time, I'm going to kick you off your bike. Because this kid just didn't want to stay away from me. Like it was kind of like when you go outside and there's mosquitoes, and the mosquitoes just don't leave you alone. Like, this kid would not leave me alone.
And this is why you should not reproduce.
Well, and this is why I will not, because I don't want kids around me. So, but this kid was like 12 or 13 years old, and he kept doing it. And he's old enough to get punched in the throat. Yeah, exactly. Even if his mom was walking, 6 seconds behind him or whatever, like the fact that he just kept riding the bike around me. I even showed you on my camera. There was nothing in the parking lot that I was walking in at the time.
Yeah, but when the way you were describing it, I was picturing like a little 6 or 7-year-old. If you'd have told me he was a 12 or 13-year-old, I'd have told you to put a stick in the spoke of his tires and watch him fly.
I mean, I was getting ready to, except I'm trying to practice social distancing.
You're gonna get 6-foot stick. We'll get right in the spokes.
So So Tino, not a lot going on in the day job, in the day life stuff, outside of day jobs, right? So you're still going to work, I'm still going to work. There's I won't speak about my day job in this situation. Obviously I try not to anyway. But the comic book stuff, I've had a lot going on, so I really haven't done a lot with it recently. I've written, I don't know, 4 or 5 pages of a brand new title that I want to do at some point, but I really haven't dug into anything, because I really when I've had downtime, which I seemingly have a lot of downtime right now, because my hours even at my day job are getting cut back. So I have the ability to have more free time to do things, but yet when I have downtime, I don't want to do anything. Are you seeing the same thing, or?
Yeah, I think I picked up my guitar for the first time since it's all started. So what, 2-3 weeks? It's the first time I picked up my guitar, and I did that because Matthew's taking guitar lessons. So I was like, hey, show me what you learned, and I'm sitting there, strumming and playing with him. But other than that, I hadn't really been playing a lot of Call of Duty.
I picked up Civilization 6 for my Nintendo Switch a couple days ago, and I started playing it, and I was trying to just really do you know about the game at all?
Mm-hmm. No.
So you basically start at the beginning of Civilization, and you start as trying to build aqueducts and everything else and build up your civilization until you get to the point where you're building cars, vehicles, all this type of stuff, and you can go to war with all the other civilizations. You can create peace treaties with them. You can do all this kind of really cool stuff. And yet I'm sitting there playing it. I get to turn 250 today because I'm gonna blow through one of these games and just see how well I do. And I decided to attack Australia with my archers, and guess what? They were throwing planes at me.
Airplanes?
Yes, like attacking me with airplanes when I'm sitting there with archers, because apparently I don't know how to play the game.
You can't match airplanes with arrows, by the way.
No. It literally, they swooped by once, they shot my guys with arrows, and they just fell down. And I was like, great. I guess I probably should not have gone to war with Australia.
Game over.
Yeah, I was like, start over. But it really makes me think about the times when they used to have strategy guides, so I can kind of try to figure out exactly how to do that, because I found myself struggling to get my civilization to actually do things in a timely fashion, besides build one set of warriors with clubs that would just sit there and smack people. Anyways, so you're playing Call of Duty. I did hop on Twitch earlier this week for the first time in a while, and I did some sketch cards.
Kill the wabbit.
So yeah, I drew Elmer Fudd. I drew Stitch.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and I tried to draw Mickey Mouse.
Wow, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah, so I went with the old school Mickey Mouse. I've been trying to do more sketch cards because I don't I'm trying to figure out how to color my stuff as well as draw it. So I did a Gambit.
Yep.
That one I think came out pretty well.
Yeah.
My buddy Terrence wanted me to do Bishop, so I drew Bishop.
Wow.
Let's see. I did a Calvin and Hobbes as Venom. just because I wanted to. Got some other ones in here. Solid Snake from Metal Gear.
So yes, so you have been bored.
Yeah, well, I mean these are, here's a Bugs Bunny for you.
Oh, that one's awesome.
Yeah, that one came out pretty well. Did a Yoshi.
Wow.
I did a Catwoman.
Nice.
Yeah, I decided I just wanted to do animated characters, but I did do an actual action pose of Batman.
Mm-hmm. So are you doing these off your head, or you got pictures that you're looking at and you're drawing from them?
I have pictures that I'm drawing from, but I'm actually like, posing them and everything myself. So there's Sonic the Hedgehog. I got one in here that you should like somewhere. Where is it? Oh, I can't find it. Oh, wait, hold on. Nope, it's not there. Here's a Marv from Sin City.
Nice.
And that one came out pretty well. Got a couple of here's a Beast Boy from Young Justice.
Matthew, appreciate that. Teen Titans, yep.
Yeah. And then I got a couple from Immortal that I drew for my own character.
Nice.
So yeah, so oh wait, here's the one that you'll like. Here's the one that you'll like.
Oh hell yeah.
Oh hell yeah. So yeah, so I've done a little bit of drawing. I went to the comic shop the other day, picked up some comics so I could actually read a little bit. And so there's, I guess, some stuff going on, but not a whole lot. And your wife Nicole asked me earlier what I thought of wrestling without audiences.
Yes, I was waiting to segue into that.
Yeah,
it's kind of like watching wrestling. Like when you go to the arena to watch it, you can hear the crowd and you can't hear the commentators. It's just in reverse now. You hear the commentators and you don't hear the crowd. So it's weird for me. The first couple of weeks, I'm just kind of now starting to get used to it because they're all doing it now. The only one that isn't doing it now, and I can tell, so I know AEW's doing, WWE's doing it, but I've gotten back into watching TNA again, just for giggles. And apparently all their stuff's taped because for the past 2 weeks it's been in front of an audience, which tells me right there that you're taped.
Well, you're right, but it's funny because the WWE's been showing classic matches during their live broadcasts, so they go from a no audience to all of a sudden it's like, and here we are live with Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar versus John Cena, and it's like, wait, that match isn't happening. Oh, they
got to fill time now somehow.
Yeah.
I don't like that they did not postpone WrestleMania and they chose to pre-record it.
So let's talk about that a little bit. I'm okay with the pre-recording because I assume that they would pre-record over the course of like 5 or 6 days, which would allow them to. But this isn't what happened apparently. But the thought process of do it over 5 or 6 days means that you can keep an essential group of people at the tapings, and you don't need everybody there. Unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be what they did. They had everybody show up for WrestleMania, and luckily, it sounds like we're not getting the Andre the Giant Battle Royal or the Women's Battle Royal because, I mean, that's just too many people in the ring at one time.
But you okay? Because I got a devil's advocate thing for you.
You're going to talk about the Fatal 5-Way women's match, or are you going to talk about
that was originally the Fatal 6-Way? If you remember when they announced it,
you got it all wrong, Tino. It was not a Fatal 6-Way. It was a 6-pack challenge match. Playa, holla, holla, playa, playa.
But
holla.
Shut up.
Holla.
They painted themselves in a corner now. We know that The Miz isn't going to be there because of the coronavirus. We know, and he's in a match for the tag team titles. We know we now know that, and they should have planned this before. If you fight leukemia, your immune system's going to be down. So they should have had a backup plan for someone to face Goldberg now because
they do. They do have a backup plan.
Braun Strowman, who just lost to Shinsuke Nakamura, or excuse me, to Sami Zayn, because
he lost a three-way against him match.
Huh?
He lost a 3-way against him match. He didn't lose to one guy.
They've been shitting on Braun Strowman, so all of a sudden now he's main event ready again? No,
it's not going to be main event. It's probably going to be the curtain jerk match. It's probably going to be the first match. Goldberg goes home immediately after.
Goldberg's not going to lose that title to Braun Strowman.
You don't think so?
No.
Do you think Goldberg's gonna continue to come to an empty arena for months on end, or you think he's gonna do a Brock Lesnar where he shows up once every 3 months and everybody starts shitting on the Universal title for the same reason?
Right. Here's my thing. I agree with you that he does need to drop the belt. What I'm saying is they don't have a contingency plan. Braun Strowman and him have not crossed paths. You know what I mean? It would have made sense. Like maybe not follow me, but WWE would have to be on top of their writing game, which we know they're not. And you could have wrote this. I took a page out of your book. Okay, so The Fiend and Cena have their match. It's going to be an undisclosed location because it's one of those funhouse matches. Okay? Goldberg comes out and goes, "Hey, I don't have anybody to fight." He kind of issues an open challenge. The Fiend never got his rematch. So Fiend's supposed to be somewhere else. Lights go out. Lights come on. The Fiend is in the same city all of a sudden, pins him and gets his belt back.
I mean, sure. But Goldberg probably said, these are the guys that I want to face under this new contract that I have.
Second theory. Can I tell you one more theory? My favorite theory that they will never do. Same thing.
Kofi Kingston?
No. Same thing. Same thing. When are they? Wait. The NXT thing, they're not doing that before WrestleMania. When are they planning on? Is it after WrestleMania they're doing it?
Are you talking about the
NXT takeover?
So they're not doing takeover now.
Or I was going to even say somehow you let Keith Lee drop his belt and come up and surprise, because they're going to call him up. Either Keith Lee or bring somebody like Ciampa up. Bring somebody up from the NXT.
Well, Ciampa doesn't want to go. Ciampa actually, he actually said in an interview that he would quit the WWE. He would retire if they tried to call him up. And here's why. He actually gave a distinct reasoning, and Triple H has backed it up, which was the work schedule of NXT is much lighter, and he's already had a major neck surgery, couple other major surgeries, and as such, he wants to extend his bump card and his longevity by having the lighter schedule. So he's willing to even take less money for that lighter schedule. At the same time, think about it. He's on the best show and he's the hottest guy they've got, right? So, and he might not be the hottest guy anymore. It might be Adam Cole, might be Velveteen Dream, might be one of those guys, but
or another one they should bring up then, who somewhat has a beef with Goldberg, would be Bro.
Well, so Matt Riddle actually said that he wanted that match, and of course they turned it down because Goldberg is not his bro. We know that. He said, "I'm not your bro." So.
But that would make more sense because they had that interaction.
That match only makes sense if they have Vince Russo on commentary, bro. Or DDP on commentary, bro.
I'm not speaking to you. So our only viable option then is going to be Braun Strowman.
So, but think about it like this. This is not the Goldberg that was able to press slam the Big Show, right? This is not that Goldberg anymore. So when he goes to pick him up for the jackhammer, it's not going to happen. Like, now granted, Braun is down to about 345 pounds now, but he is a monster of 345 pounds. I don't think Goldberg picks him up the way that he used to be able to pick men like that up. So, and obviously having been someone who was actually attempting to get prepared for a match with Roman Reigns and the spear versus spear, now all of a sudden you don't have that spear versus spear campaign. You've got big man versus Goldberg again, right? And I think what's going to be pretty awesome is that same spear that he did 3 of them to take out. I'm cutting in and out.
Yeah, keep doing it.
Are we okay now?
No, they're still doing. I mean, it comes and goes, folks. This is the first time we're using Yard Stream.
StreamYard.
Or StreamYard.
StreamYard.
Yeah, StreamYard. So I just sent Rob a text letting him know that his face is freezing and it sounded pixelated at times. So forgive us. We know it's weird. We're still playing.
However, we don't know if the stream is actually showing that on YouTube or not.
But just in case it is, we want to apologize and let the folks know that we are aware that we're still trying this. We wanted to get something out to you guys, and we're working on it.
Yeah, it looks like it looks like on the live stream right now, everything seems to be okay, but there is some sort of delay on it too, so it's probably like 3 to 5 seconds behind us.
So, Rob, you think that Goldberg's going to get these hands?
I do. In fact, I still think that Braun Strowman, someone in our wrestling group said it, and I loved it, was that they really should have been offering Braun Strowman as a PSA saying, "Wash these hands."
That would be awesome.
He like, this is Braun Strowman here washing these hands, and then actually like showing how you're supposed to wash for 20 seconds. And then of course body slam somebody or whatever. But what I think's interesting about this, Tino, and like I was just saying, I don't think Goldberg can pick him up like he can most of these other guys. So he's not going to be able to jackhammer him. So he may spear him. 2-3 times, whatever. We've seen where Braun ends up getting picked up by Brock Lesnar and thrown around, with suplexes. Pardon me, I'm going to cough, but I do not feel ill. By the way, this is just
vampire. Do the vampire. Yeah, there you go.
So, but wouldn't it be interesting if when Goldberg goes to spear him and does it the same way that he did against Bray Wyatt, where he just dove right into him right at the beginning of the match? Wouldn't it be interesting if Braun just shakes him off and they make Braun during the match? Like, he doesn't sell for Goldberg. So Goldberg goes to spear him and he just falls flat. And then Braun picks him up and tosses him around like a rag doll. What if they made Braun into the monster that he should be, because he is the monster amongst men, right?
Well, they did that before, and then I don't know if Vince lost interest in him and he just lost steam. They had built him up.
Well, it's because Braun genuinely is a nice guy. They're doing the same thing with him that they did with Big Show for so many years, where one day is a giant, you can't beat him. The next day is losing to Rey Mysterio. And I loved when Chris Jericho talked about it, because Chris Jericho mentioned when he actually had him on his podcast at one point, before he signed with AEW, he said, "Why are you letting people do that to you? I took 6 months being part of Jericho, trying to show that you were an unstoppable monster. And then the night that we're not working together anymore, you're suddenly jobbing to Rey Mysterio. Like, what's up with that?" And obviously it's because, they tried to build Mysterio or whatever the case was at that point. So
go
ahead.
Keeping in your vein. Okay. Braun wins the championship.
Sure.
Right. He's only, so is he just holding it until Roman, can come back and take it from him?
No, because let's be real. Right now, until this COVID virus is over, I don't think we see Roman Reigns again. The only way I think we see him is live via satellite, and actually via satellite. I don't think that he goes backstage anymore.
But that's what I'm saying, though. Does Braun hold this till this COVID thing is over and Roman can come back, and then Roman, you know what I'm saying?
Dude, it possibly, because here's the deal. With the COVID virus the way that it is, it could be next year. It could be 3 years from now that this finally isn't a thing, and Roman's got to look out for Roman here. Joe Anoa'i, or however you say his last name, needs to look out for him and his family, because you're absolutely right. He has a compromised immune system. And even though he is probably in perfect health right now, just because he had leukemia means that he has a compromised health system.
So does Vince allow Braun to hold it? I don't think Vince is high on Braun. You know what I'm saying? So
I don't think he's got a choice. Like, who else is there? You could give it back to Bray Wyatt, but you'd have to do a 3-way dance match. And I don't know if they want to do that. And I don't know if Goldberg's okay losing to The Fiend or to John Cena.
But
I honestly think that what they should do is they should put Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens in that match and let Kevin Owens finally win his rematch against Goldberg.
But he's not on SmackDown, so that means
I don't care. The brand extension right now, when you only have half a roster anyway, is pointless. But you know, you brought up the Miz being sick. I want to point out the Miz has not been said to have COVID-19 or coronavirus. The Miz is ill. Cesaro is ill. These guys are being kept away from the building because they're being precautionary.
And WWE lucked into something here because I believe that they were going to break Miz Morrison up again and have them feud. This is be the perfect opportunity. You can't have the 3-way for the tag team for teams, but you can still have one team member representing their team, and whoever wins gets the belt. Morrison loses that belt. Miz comes back like, what the hell? And that starts that feud.
Well, again,
into their lap.
Again, what if the Miz all of a sudden is actually diagnosed with coronavirus? Then we're not going to see the Miz for a while because they're not going to let him back until he is perfectly cleared. And again, you have all these great scenarios, but there's another big possibility that we're not even talking about right now.
They're going to have to drop those belts if Miz can't come back and defend them. He's going to have to drop it anyway.
Well, sure. So the Usos or the New Day will end up winning the titles one way or another in that 3-way dance with Morrison. However, Morrison apparently is catching flack for not following social distancing policies either, because he's been in hot tubs with other people and things like that. I don't know really what all that's about, but there's something on Twitter about it. Right now, the WWE WrestleMania tapings have taken place. There was a big thing that I saw today, and I can't confirm it. I can only say that it came from, I believe, Slice Wrestling, where they said that Brock Lesnar had an altercation backstage with Vince McMahon.
Stood up to Vinnie Mac.
And
he stood up to Vinnie Mac.
Here's why I believe this is a possibility, folks. It's a possibility because Brock Lesnar has done it before. But what's interesting about it is that Brock Lesnar, basically, from what the reports are saying, is he stood up to Vince because he feels like WrestleMania should have been delayed. Tino, nobody wants to see your dirty sock.
It's clean. I just got it out to clean.
Yeah, you can say it's clean all you want. Nobody's going to believe you.
It's clean.
So
you don't think it really happened then?
The Brock Lesnar thing? No, I think it very well could have. I think Brock Lesnar has said in the past that if he's not going to go on last, he wants to go on first. And in something like this, where there is the possibility that people could be in harm's way, I think that Brock Lesnar, who is a very secluded person in his personal life, would absolutely be the type of person that would sit there and go, let's postpone this until people are healthy again. And that way we can actually do it with people in the stands, because otherwise you're just paying me a ton of money to do this in front of nobody. And
so is he a germaphobe?
What?
Is Brock a germaphobe?
I mean, he might be. I just know that but think about it like this. Brock Lesnar also suffered from diverticulitis. So he may still to this day, because he has less intestines than other people and has had surgery on his intestines, very well could be immunosuppressed himself. You know,
I had diverticulitis, but they didn't have to operate on my intestines.
Well, you probably couldn't really enough where you didn't have actual holes in your intestine. So remember that this is a guy that got kicked in the stomach once by Alistair Overeem and lost his UFC title because of it. You know, so there's a high probability that when you think about it, that's actually something that Brock started thinking about. And as it continues to get worse, he's sitting there going, why are we even doing this? Like I could be compromised here. And the fact that, like, apparently the Miz was actually sick during his match a couple weeks ago or a week ago or whatever, that apparently had something to do with why Roman Reigns said that he did not want to partake in WrestleMania because of his leukemia situation. So it's.
Well, that makes sense. I'm not faulting Reigns. I applaud Reigns. I agree with you. He does not need to be at WrestleMania around or in public. Period. I agree with that.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. I think that's obvious in this situation. You know, it's showing that that he really is caring about his own personal well-being, and probably talked to his own physician, and his physician probably said, why are you doing this? You should be home. You know, but it did have something to do with the fact that the Usos were in a match with The Miz that caused Roman to sit there and speak up about it and say that he didn't feel comfortable. So it's odd because you know, it seems like Vince isn't doing WrestleMania the way that WrestleMania is normally done. You know, it's like it's just another show on the network now, whereas in the past it's always been the show of shows. And at this point, I'd probably assume that he feels that SummerSlam is going to be the show of shows this year. Or he'll do something in Saudi Arabia like the greatest WrestleMania, which would be stupid, but the perfect thing that Vince would do, you know? So I watched NXT this week. And I was really hoping that what we were going to get was a statement from Triple H about Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa's match now taking place at the show of shows. And Triple H got in the ring and started saying, I'm going to give you a spot on the grandest stage of them all. And Johnny Gargano's like, no, I don't want that. What? Like any wrestler wants to be on the WrestleMania card. Like, oh, no, I just want to end this thing with Tommaso Ciampa in a backyard somewhere. No. Even if you do want to just end it in a swimming pool somewhere, like, you want to do it at WrestleMania. Am I right?
Yes. So what was the point of it?
Well, they, you know, he basically said, I'll text you guys a time and a place, and you'll show up, and it'll be 2 weeks from now. So it'll be after WrestleMania.
I saw it. I didn't understand it.
It was stupid. Like you obviously don't have your takeover match. So instead of doing, you know, and it looks like they're just basically doing takeover for free on USA instead. But instead of doing that, give these guys the spotlight that they need, that they deserve. Like, sure, it's not going to be the same WrestleMania that everybody else is expecting because there's not going to be any people in the stands, but put it on WrestleMania.
I think they're trying to shave time because they're already doing 2 nights. So WrestleMania is usually 6-7 hours. So I think they're trying to shave time, which doesn't make sense to me because they own the network. They can do it on the network, but I think because they're dropping matches, they're not going to have any like pre-show like they normally do either. You know what I mean? So maybe that's
may. I mean, if they're doing 3 hours both nights, it might be an hour pre-show, 2 hours of matches. You know, because obviously they're not going to have commercials or anything. So, but I mean, I don't know. I'm going to watch it just because there's nothing else on TV right now. But that's pretty much the only reason why I'm watching it. Like, I'm not interested in any of the feuds really. Like, they've bombed out on Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens, which Kevin Owens could have really been the next coming of Stone Cold here, and they've kind of just dropped him off the map and keep having him lose and keep having him look like a chump to this Monday Night Messiah character. You know. And where did he get that leather jacket with the fluffy thing on it? Like, where did he get that?
I don't know. Where did she get the semi truck?
I don't know. I do like his new shirt. The you know, pane glass, colored glass shirt that he's got. I do like that Seth Rollins shirt. But at the same time, like, I'd never buy it.
There's a couple. There's a couple of matches that I am interested in. I'm interested in the Shayna Baszler Becky match.
Why?
Just to see, because I think that's when Ronda's coming back.
Oh.
I'm interested in the Rhea Ripley Charlotte Flair match just to see is Charlotte Flair going back down to NXT.
Well, I would hope that it's more in line with Charlotte's going to do the honors for Rhea.
And that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm hoping. And that's something, but who knows?
You know, but maybe what happens is Rhea Ripley ends up beating Charlotte and she takes her place on what show is she on, Raw?
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe she goes to Raw. I don't know. But there's something disappointing. You know, I said it not too long ago and I was kind of joking, but unfortunately it's almost real now, is that WWE without an audience looks like a Ring of Honor show.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm only saying that because a Ring of Honor show normally has about 500 people at it. So like having nobody in the stands is pretty much the same thing. You know, but it's just weird watching Monday Night Raw and SmackDown take place from the Performance Center. And there was a big rumor that the reason why Vince was doing all that was because he literally was hoping that the state of Florida would shut down so that he could not continue broadcasting, so he would actually get the insurance money from it. Now, if that was the case, that's genius. But at the same time, like it looks like the bluff keeps getting closer and closer to taking place. You know what I mean?
But here's the thing. So he's already taped WrestleMania. So if they do shut down, does he still show what he has, or does he postpone it?
No. That's why they did it now. I can almost guarantee it. So the show does go on, no matter what. They might not have the night after Mania anymore, but they'll get through WrestleMania at this point. They've got the film for it, you know, and obviously we're not shut down yet. So I would anticipate that tomorrow and Friday and everything else will take place as scheduled. Friday might be a go home host show of this is what to expect on Saturday and Sunday. Well, you didn't cover up there, boss man.
It's just me and the cat in the room right now. So,
is trying to see who has a bigger hairball.
Yeah, he's sleeping though. He's not really paying any attention.
So, all right. So since WrestleMania is now less than a week away.
Yep.
You got the card near you so that we can go ahead and.
That's what I'm trying to find. All
right. So you pull up the card. And we will give our predictions on this show. Now, Tino and I, folks, we've been talking about the possibility of, since we both have a little bit more time, we may do this even more often now. So at least until things get back to normal, we've been talking about the possibility of doing these shows a little bit more frequently and just kind of shooting the shit, not even knowing what the heck we're going to talk about. We thought that maybe we'll start pulling up old Monday Night Raws and actually reviewing an old episode of Monday Night Raw. We figured what we might really do is break down an old Nitro and Raw and say which one won the night and explain why. Yeah, but that would require a lot of actual work on our parts to determine what actually we talk about and everything else, as well as trying to keep it to a specific amount of time. You know, we've been live for 44 minutes now, and I almost thought about saying that we should have a drinking game on here, Tino, where every time one of us touches our face, you have to drink.
I'm not touching my face.
I've touched my face 3 times, but here's the thing. I only went outside for 5 minutes and I washed my hands after that. So, about half an hour because I went on a walk.
All right. Let's do, okay, so I'm going to just start with the championship. Let's order.
No. Start from the bottom and work your way up because obviously the championships are the last matches.
That's a pain in the ass. Okay. It's just not showing all the matches this way.
Well, that's because they probably haven't all been announced.
All right. This is the last one. All right, so we'll do this one. Edge versus Orton.
Oh, come on. That one's easy.
Edge.
Yeah. Like, unless they're going to plan the angle out, because apparently he's only contracted to like 12 dates a year or something. He's got an even caker schedule than Brock Lesnar, and people love him, so it's okay. But yeah, I would think that with it now being a no holds barred match, or false count anywhere, no holds barred. Which one is it?
False count anywhere.
False count anywhere. With it being false count anywhere, I say that Edge wins. It is going to have a pretty cool spot in it at some point, unless Edge is unable to actually participate in a big spot fest.
I'm trying to find the card because that didn't have all the matches. I'm trying to find something with the whole card on it. So
Let's see. Let's see if you can't find it. Let's see. Does WrestleMania.com have it?
That's where I'm looking right now. Let's see. I'm gonna type in. Come on. So.
Yeah, they don't. They really don't seem to have it. So you know what? Let's go to lordsofpain.net and see if they actually have it, because now we're just wasting airtime for people that might be watching this.
I found it.
All right.
Card so amount so far. All right. Elias versus King Corbin.
Who? Elias versus King Corbin?
Yeah.
Oof. I guess I want to see Elias win. So I'll go with Elias.
I'm going to go with Elias.
Okay.
What the hell is Aleister Black versus Lashley?
You got to go with Aleister Black.
Yeah.
I think he's only lost one match.
The Raw Tag Team, the Street Profits versus Andrade and Angel Garza.
But Andrade is out, so it won't be Andrade. It's going to be who's Austin Theory from NXT as Garza's partner. So
tag team. So the Street Profits retain.
Yeah, so Street Profits will retain, but it should be a good match.
Now, see, this is back when it was still a six-pack challenge.
Six-pack challenge match, player. Holla, holla.
Bayley, Sasha, Lacey, Dana, Tamina, Naomi. I'm going with Lacey.
Well, we know Dana Brooke's out.
Yep.
So she's not going to win. They have been pushing Lacey pretty strong, but I kind of think that what they'll probably do is keep it on Bayley, but really push the Bayley versus Sasha thing.
Okay, so you're going with Bayley.
Yeah, I'll go with Bayley.
Owens and Rollins.
Well, I believe Buddy Murphy is out, or Murphy is out. So Akam or Razar are out as well. So you only have the possibility of one person interfering in the match. So I'm going to say stunner.
Yeah, I'm going with Owens too, because Seth has been going over Kevin a lot recently. So I think they're going to give it back to Kevin at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Rhea Ripley and Charlotte. I'm going with Rhea.
Yeah, I like that. I like that choice. I mean, obviously, she is the NXT champion, and it is for the NXT championship. Charlotte's obviously on Raw, so unless Vince really does want to start putting Charlotte against an already stacked women's division in NXT, I see Rhea winning. Becky
Lynch versus Shayna Baszler. I say Becky goes over. Ronda comes out so she can start something with Shayna.
We know that it's not going to be Ronda's in the audience because there's no audience, right? So I kind of think I'm going to go with Baszler here. They even though the match was hot garbage, they did push her. they did push her super strong in the elimination chamber, eliminating every single person. So I'm gonna go with Baszler, and obviously that allows the baby face to kind of try to fire back up going forward.
Okay. Edge and Orton, we already both agree Edge. Cena versus Wyatt. Wyatt.
Yeah, I look at this possibly as John Cena's retirement match. So, you know, kind of like how the Rock did in 2003 or whatever against Austin, where Austin actually passed the torch. I look at this as the passing of the torch to Wyatt. At the same time, though, I wouldn't be surprised if John Cena somehow like squeaked out a 25-minute match by getting a 3 count, but then still the Fiend looks great in it. Although they really haven't booked that well in the past. So I go with Wyatt here.
Undertaker versus AJ Styles. AJ's made it personal.
Yeah.
When the Undertaker came out with it, I thought he was coming out as the American Badass. I think this WrestleMania, because he didn't really come out slow as the old Undertaker, I think I'm seeing him merge his reincarnations into one. You know what I mean?
You know, this may be something where with the no audience that you know, I expect AJ to carry the match.
You do what?
I expect AJ to carry the match.
Yeah.
I expect AJ to really make Calloway look good here. And do everything he can. I think that you're going to get interference from Gallows and Anderson. You're actually going to see them. You know, we don't know what a boneyard match is. I assume it's a buried alive match. So I would anticipate that you'll see Gallows and Anderson actually help AJ bury the Undertaker, but then the Undertaker will do the whole thing where he grabs him by the throat, and then he buries all 3 of them together. You know, and it'll be interesting to see what the match actually means, because like I said, nobody knows what a boneyard match is. It could just be taking place in a cemetery for all we know, right? I see the Undertaker going over, but if it's 3-on-1, I could see AJ actually pulling off the victory and the Undertaker getting to say that it was against Mark Calloway, not the Undertaker, so it doesn't really count.
Okay. Goldberg versus Roman Reigns is what's, like I said, it's up in the air right now.
Well, no, it's not up in the air. We know that Roman's not going to be there. We know that he wasn't at the tapings. We know that it's Braun Strowman. Yeah. You basically said that you assume that Goldberg goes over, and that they just have him continue, right? Is that what you were saying?
I mean, it wouldn't make sense. Like I said, they haven't interacted at all. It's just a pulling something out of their ass. I mean, they'll probably have Braun go over because I know Goldberg I think he's only signed through WrestleMania, and he doesn't really want to be going to do that travel thing again. So I can see where they would hand it to Braun. It just doesn't, and I would love for him to hand it to Braun if it made sense.
Well, remember, we still have one more SmackDown before it all happens, so it's very possible that, you know, Michael Cole comes out and at the beginning of the show, and he's like, ladies and gentlemen, big news. Goldberg does not have an opponent at WrestleMania because due to the current pandemic situation, Roman Reigns has chosen to be healthy and safe. Due to the possibilities of lower immune system due to leukemia, and then Goldberg comes out and he starts, you know, running his mouth about Roman and everything, and says you know, like I was really hoping to have Spear versus Spear, who in the back actually thinks they can challenge me, and then you see Braun just come out at the end and he's just standing there at the thing, and you just see the two of them stare at each other, and you know, sometimes that sells a match. You know, like they have a 2-hour program that they can still do something to get Braun over for this. Now, at the same time, I I see Braun going over, but let's be real. It's going to feel like in a UFC match when all of a sudden the champion goes down with an injury and they crown an interim champion, right? It's like, oh, okay. But cooler things have prevailed from some of this stuff, like think about when JBL became world champion, or when Eddie Guerrero became world champion. We knew Brock Lesnar was leaving in 2004, so Eddie went over, and he didn't go over at WrestleMania. He beat Kurt at WrestleMania, but he went over at No Way Out the month before it, when he beat Brock Lesnar, and everybody was like, how the hell did that happen? I mean, I remember that it felt like that WrestleMania moment when all of a sudden, you had Road Dogg, who was the hardcore champion, and you had Billy Gunn, who was the Intercontinental champion, and somehow they flip-flopped the titles and the matches got changed on WrestleMania, and we're all sitting there going, what the hell just happened?
Yep.
That was the same WrestleMania where Big Boss Man got hung in the Hell in a Cell. That was like the worst WrestleMania ever.
Next to this one, this is the new worst WrestleMania ever.
There's a lot of good talent on this one. There wasn't a lot of good talent on that one.
Okay.
So I say Braun goes over, and hopefully they do something with him.
All right, and then finally, the last match that they've got listed here is the Lesnar McIntyre. We know McIntyre's going over. There's no doubt about that.
We say that all the time, but. And Brock has been selling the shit for him, man. Like apparently that third Claymore kick, and this probably got Drew in some trouble backstage, but he said that Brock's the one that called that third Claymore kick. He said, do it. And then he came out and he did another one because the crowd was eating it up. So, like Drew is over, but the question is, will Drew remain over if he wins this match? And I wonder whether or not that means you keep it on Brock and you keep the challenge going, so that way you really like Drew isn't as over without the crowd, because he does the 1, 2, 3 thing, and are we just going to be chanting that on live streams that night instead of it brings up a good point, and I'll say yes, I expect Drew McIntyre to go over because I think Brock is trying to make him the next made man here. But Tino, why aren't the WWE putting up TV screens in the chairs with audience members live streaming so that they can have the camera on them watching WrestleMania? That way they can get the audience and they can turn up the volume and they can do all that, and the WWE has the money to sit there and put monitors on the chairs.
Yeah, they do. I didn't think about that. That's a good idea.
You do the front row, you do a couple rows, whatever. I don't know, but I'm kind of surprised that they haven't tried to figure out a way to get audience reaction at the events. Like maybe you blow out the speakers. I don't know, but I am kind of surprised that they haven't tried to figure out some way to get monitors or something else in the performance center so that they can actually make it look like there are people watching the event at one time.
All right, well, I'm interested, and I can't wait to see, because we trash it, but I'm going to be there and I'm going to be watching WrestleMania. There's no way I'm going to let a year go by that I don't watch it, crowd or no crowd. It's still going to be entertaining. It's still the granddaddy of them all.
There is a possibility, folks, that Tino and I are watching just like this, where we are giving our reactions as it is going on in our room. Like, we might not be looking at the YouTube screen. We might be just sitting there and like screaming out, "Oh my God, I can't believe we just did," just to make it sound like there is a crowd reaction going on. We're actually talking about trying to figure out a way to do a stream with our friends. We used to do watch parties on Xbox Live where we were able to sit there and all watch, trying to watch in unison. Obviously, we'd all have different little. It'd be like, "Oh man, I just saw this move," and you're like, "I didn't see that move yet." And it's like, well, just wait a second, it's coming.
So I'm also thinking too, we could probably, if not Saturday, we also discussed maybe getting together and watching, like Rob's there by himself, so maybe not both nights, but maybe Saturday night we'll watch it like this, and then Sunday we can be in the same room together. Our social distancing, maybe I'll roll over there to your house and we can figure out how to do that.
The social distancing thing, well, you know, it depends, because North Carolina, certain areas are now trying to you know, they're really trying to make sure that people are not going out, and the last thing I'd want to do is have Tino get arrested trying to watch WrestleMania.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
However, Tino does have one of those things that allows him to travel. So you could travel here. I might not be able to travel there.
I'd have to lie like I'm on my way to work.
Well, I mean, for half the ride, you probably are.
Yeah, right.
I took the long way.
Wow.
So Tino, last thing I want to talk about real quick, because it's pretty funny to me, and probably one of the things that I probably should have said at the beginning of this, but I just think it's funny. I'm trying to teach my mom how to use these programs so that she can actually have conversations with the grandkids and everything. You know, my mom's 70 years old, and she's about to be 71 in about, actually, I think the day after the second part of WrestleMania. So not this Monday, but next Monday.
That's Nicole. Your mom's birthday is April 6th.
April 7th is my mom's. So I guess it's Tuesday is when her birthday is. But you know, it's funny because like I'm sitting there saying like I'm looking at my cell phone and I'm sitting there trying to tell her, hey, see if this button actually is there so that you can just do video calling. And she's like, I don't have that button. And I'm like, well, what buttons do you have? And she's like, well, I've got one that's got a phone with a plus sign. And I'm like, yeah, go ahead and try that one. She pretty much hung up on me because she was trying to add another call. Like
that's funny.
That's how, like, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, Mom, I got to teach you how to use Google Hangouts, because then you can just like they can even be on the computer, and she's like, oh, I can't be on the computer because I don't have any speakers on the computer and I don't have a camera. And it's just so funny talking to my mom about this stuff, man, because like, you know, I'm 42, you know, you're in your mid 60s. So you know, but like seriously, I know that you're what, 45?
46. I'll be 47 in July. My mom will be 69 in August. Wow. Yeah. So she's, luckily we're Apple, so we got her an iPhone, so she does know how to FaceTime, and we mistakenly taught her to text and how to use the emojis.
Yeah, see, my mom doesn't know how to do any of that. My aunt Marge, who I think is in her 80s now, actually does text, but her texts are terrible from what we've seen online. But anyways, it's just funny because like, so my sister, you were talking about the program Zoom earlier, and my sister apparently hooked up her phone with Zoom or something so that she can actually talk to the grandkids that way. And my other sister Michelle's sitting there going, does she even know how to use it?
It's totally stupid.
But you know, like none of us want to be in the same room with her right now, because like me, I go to work every day. So if I ended up, you know, getting in contact with it or whatever, the last thing I want to do is be near my parents, because they're both in their 70s, you know, and my dad, you know, my dad, you want to talk about high risk. I mean, he's had numerous heart attacks and everything else. He'd have no chance, you know. So there you go. There you go. He's doing it correctly this time, folks. Practicing the way that you're supposed to. Now he's just smelling his armpit. I don't know what's going on over there.
Doing the dab.
Oh, you're dabbing?
Yeah. I know.
All right. So Tino, you got anything else?
No, I don't. I'm about to. I wasn't expecting to do the impromptu show. My wife and I were getting ready to watch the show, and then Robert, let's try this. And Nicole was sitting in the chair, and then you went on YouTube. I'm like, oh, I guess we're doing a show. So Nicole, you know, she got up and went in the room. So, and that was an hour and 4 minutes ago. So,
and that was an hour and 4 minutes ago. You're absolutely right. And it's funny because like here we are, like we haven't skipped a beat. You know,
just never did.
Just doing it the way that we always do. You know who I saw this week, actually, believe it or not? I saw the Turd. Ward.
Where?
Yeah, he showed up at my day job. We went and had lunch. He picked up lunch, brought it over to my day job, and then I snuck out and went to a park for half an hour so that, before they shut all those down.
Is he still following wrestling, or did he give up?
He said pretty much when he hears someone talk about a match that he needs to watch, he watches it. But otherwise, he is socially distanced himself from all professional wrestling. Which is interesting because, he probably would really enjoy AEW at this point.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That right now is my favorite. NXT and AEW are what's keeping me going with wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and NXT has been solid, although the weird altercation between Keith Lee, Dijakovic, and Damian Priest was really weird this week. Like there was some like those three just need to get a room somewhere. It felt like by the time that was over.
Speaking of weird and strange, did you see the Matt Hardy Chris Jericho segment?
No, I did not, because my TV decided not to get AEW this week for some reason.
So, well, it was interesting.
So I heard that Jericho cut a promo on what's it called? The
oh my God,
his drone.
Yes, it was so funny. He tried to get the drone to join the inner circle. He's like, yeah, you'll get all the best drone hotties, and so the drone was here, like it was like eye level with Jericho, and he's like inching forward, and the drone would go up, and he's like, so are you in or are you out? And it flew away. He's cussing and said, "Damn you! How dare you turn your back on the inner circle? We will get you." That made me laugh. It was because it was so ridiculous. You need to go back and see if you can find it on YouTube or something, because it was so ridiculous. That made it funny because it was Jericho interacting with this drone.
So it was probably like Jericho really, really feeling like the Jericho of like the 90s from WCW, right? Yeah.
That's the kind of promo he was cutting on this drone.
So okay, I know that I said last thing earlier. I will say one more last thing, and then we're getting off of here. Viceland has had Dark Side of the Ring start back up. They did a 2-part Benoit story. They really go in depth with the Chris Benoit passing, as well as Eddie Guerrero's during the 2 episodes.
Get Viceland.
It's normally you can find it on YouTube. So yeah, normally you can find it on YouTube. You and I can discuss it off air. I don't want to talk about how you can illegally stream stuff.
Uh-oh. Dun.
But it was really well done. That episode was actually narrated by Chris Jericho. Had a lot of interviews with Chris Jericho, Chavo Guerrero, Vicky Guerrero, and Dean Malenko, and even Dean Malenko's wife, talking about a lot of the stuff. So it really went into places that they hadn't gone before. And although most of the information is pretty well known, like, they went into that infamous episode of Raw where they actually did the tribute for Benoit, and then like the very next night they actually showed the McMahon portion where he's like, besides me talking about it right now, you will not hear the name Chris Benoit going forward on WWE programming, and it really brought some stuff to light with that. Like, for example, the surviving child, David Benoit, I believe is what his name was. Yeah, David. Him and his aunt, who were really close before the murder suicide, hadn't been allowed to talk to each other since that happened. And Chris Jericho and Chavo Guerrero brought them together so that they could actually like interact. And then if I had to guess, it seems like they went to go see an AEW show together.
He's looking to break into the wrestling business. He looks just like his dad. And I don't think Vince is going to touch him. So he might get in with the AEW. I don't think they want to. Think there might be distance from him too.
Yeah, I don't think he'll ever make a career out of pro wrestling. But like, who knows? Stranger things have happened. I wouldn't be surprised that him and Brian Pillman Jr. ended up becoming a tag team or something. Just because of their history. But I don't foresee it. I just thought it was really cool that those two people really don't deserve to be listed as part of the tragedy anymore, and they really do. They really should have been able to lock up and meet up with each other and actually like interact. And then the last thing that was in that was pretty interesting was that Chris Jericho said that Woman totally deserves to be in the WWE Hall of Fame, but obviously for specific reasons, Chris Benoit doesn't, and she'll never get in there because of her association with Chris Benoit.
Yeah, and that's very unfortunate.
Yeah,
because she does deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, and who knows, maybe it'll blow over. I don't know if Vince will ever change his stance on it.
No, and he shouldn't, man. A murder, like a double murder.
Not Benoit.
Oh, with Woman, I just don't think you can. Like, she and Jericho's points of it were that she was probably the best valet in the business, and after she stopped being a valet, there really weren't valets after that. And he's not wrong. There were a couple. There was Tammy Sitch and there was Stacy Keibler. Sable became a wrestler though.
Okay. Oh, well, they all did.
Yeah, Sonny did as well. But Stacy Keibler, even though she won the women's championship at one point, she was never a wrestler. Let's be real. She was probably the most attractive out of all of them ever, but until Alexa Bliss.
Girl.
Until Alexa Bliss. But anyways.
Listen, I don't feel like going into Alexa Bliss with you right now. End it.
So with that, there is a new table for 3 that I saw that was Ember Moon, Braun Strowman, and Alexa Bliss at an Applebee's, and it's pretty funny.
They already did a table for 3, didn't they?
But this one was I don't know if it's new or not. I finally watched it, but Braun eats all of their burgers. It was
that's the older one.
Okay, yeah. Okay. So with that, Tino, if you don't have anything else, man, why don't you take us out?
If I can remember how.
Exactly. That's why I'm not doing it.
You can find us on Facebook at Potsy and Tino Show on Facebook, right?
Potsy and Tino Show. And
then the Twitter is Potsy and Tino. I always get that confused. You can find him on Instagram, Twitter, at Podchat. You can find me. I'm Hootie Fan 91 on all the social medias. As always, we want to say thank you to Adam's House Cat, which I don't think we played at the beginning of the show.
You don't think so?
I don't think we did, but we'll play it on the way out. But thank you for Adam's asshole. I wasn't done. Thank you, Adam's House Cat, for the intro and extra music. You can find it on iTunes for 99 cents. As always, I hear Ric Flair. See, this is what he does to me. He starts laughing. As always, in the Big Hill in Charlotte, North Carolina, I can hear Ric Flair, and he is saying, "Woo! Woo! Good night, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back." Ew. Turn it off.